If your Christian spouse ever says these two words, dial in, they are absolute game changers in marriage. We're talking about understanding. And here's one of the biggest pitfalls that you can possibly fall into. You get this wrong, and understanding is so important. Remember, understanding is more important than resolution, right? For any relationship. To be understood is more important for the health of the relationship than to resolve problems. These two words, you ready for them? Change everything. I am. I am. These are identity words. Now, I want you to get this. We've covered the logical understanding. We talked about the emotional understanding. I was at my dinner table. I was talking to my daughter, and we were talking about we started just talking about eating and eating habits and different things like that. And it felt to me like it was light. I had gotten the logical, I'd gotten the emotional. There's another portion I missed, and we're talking, and we started talking about how we eat and the purposes of it. And I mentioned something about if you don't eat a certain way, I use the word ladylike, right? Ladylike. It's not ladylike. My sweet girl jumps up and just runs into a room crying, right? She's crying. I'm like, well, what just what just happened? I'm like, oh, guys, living with three women, let's go. It is an educational opportunity to learn, right? So I jump up. I'm Cam's in there. She's in the other room, and she goes by, and I come by. I'm like, gotta fix something. So I went back in there. I went to the room with her. I'm like, hey, sweetie, what's? I noticed you started crying, and she's like, here's what she says to me. When you said what you said about eating, it felt like you were calling me a man, right? Or a boy. And I was like, baby, come here, come here. And I hug her. I'm like, no, 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 no. Daddy has to be more careful with his words. She goes, yeah, because you said if it's not ladylike, that means it's, and what I had touched on accidentally in Touche, I had touched on an identity piece. All right. Uh, Identity is one of the biggest landmines you can step on when it comes to understanding, because identity connects to who they feel they are, who they say in their mind and in their heart, I am blank. Okay. This is important. The human brain wants consistency with who it thinks or what it thinks it is more than anything else. If that gets all out of balance, depression, all kinds of really, really, really damaging things can happen to an individual simply by getting under a mix up of who I am or who I think I am versus the actions that I'm doing and what I am doing. This is critical, okay? In a conversation, when you're communicating with your life, with your spouse, and you started moving to this final piece, understanding this question. Hey, I'm Ahi. I want to let you know community is everything. If you don't have community, what happens is when you go up and you have these downs, if you don't have community around you, I've lived this to kind of help push you up again, you can spiral and forget the tools that the things you know how to do. You don't have the who around you to support you in it, to give you the common pitfalls. It's so critically hard to get to where you want to go in marriage. Now, can you still get there? Yes. Will it take you triple, double the time? Yeah. Double the pain? Yes. Double the collateral damage? Yes. So what are we doing about this? We are creating a group just for that. It's a community of Christians that are married, that are coming together and sharing their experiences, sharing who they are. Now, we're going to be going live, Cami and I, we're going to put all kinds of awesome content. If you're finding this video about identity valuable, times it by 10, we're going to be dumping it into this. All the stuff's going to move into this group. If you want to get into that group, and I want you to hit in the description, and apply to get into that group. No one's in it yet. You're going to be a founding member. We're collecting everybody up, getting it all together. And we're going to have a big rollout launch. We're all going to go in there together and be awesome. So God bless you. Let's get back to it. Take your marriage to the next level. We'll see you soon. Take care. How does this conversation or what we're talking about connect with their identity, who they think they are, what they think they are? How is this what we're talking about tied into that? Because if you don't understand that, you're going to step on a landmine eventually. And Someone's gonna be running from the dinner table. And with a kid, yes, you can repair it. Your daddy, your mama, and your spouse, you can do some serious, serious damage. So what do we do with this space? And the first thing is understanding how important, how big identity is, that it is not something that you just gloss over. It's not something you just brush away. I'm just so angry right now. You're not just angry because you're not going to change it like that. You're not going to change identity by your words and your what you speak into that. No, no, no. You want understanding because once again, when you start trying to change and shift things, you're looking for resolution, right? Remember, understanding for any relationship is more important for the health of that relationship than resolution. So, what do? First, you understand the importance of those words I am or any identity type of statement that's saying, this is how I see myself. Does that mean like, oh, I agree with whatever they say? I'm the worst person on the planet. You disagree with that? No, that's not what I'm saying. But you do need to understand it. Now, how would you navigate that? I'll give you a little extra nugget here. You would just say something along the lines of, I understand. I get that you feel like you're the worst person on the planet. I don't see that personally. Do you know where that came from or where that originated? Right. So what you're doing, two things in this space. You're not saying, hey, change this. You're not assuming that you can change it, but you can help to understand them deeper, to say, where do you think this came from? And who knows, now the conversation get deep. Now things can get very real or personable, and you have an opportunity to connect deeper with your spouse. Well, you can't just brush by it. You can't push by it. It might be, man, all growing up in my life, I had a dad, I had a mom, I had a cousin, I had an uncle that treated me in a certain way. Man, I'm realizing I've adopted that, and you can have a conversation, and now you can know not to change it, but you can know when you're walking those waters, and now you're talking about value, what someone brings to the world. You can be very careful, and you can be aware, loving, graceful in the areas, but this is a stage of understanding your spouse needs to you to understand. So you get the logical, awesome. Get the emotional, awesome. But if you can also understand how their identity is tied up into what you're talking about or what you're doing, and you can articulate that to your spouse, I get it. You are this way, or this affects this about you, or this challenges. So I understand your emotions. I get the logistics. I get that portion. I get the emotional, but I also get the identity part. I understand how your childhood, your raising, or your career, your ambitions, your goals, how they all come into play. You get these three things, and you are now at a place where you understand. You're understanding in that situation. Guys, I hope this is valuable. I hope this helps your marriage, your Christian marriage, go to the next level. Keep growing, keep connecting with God, keep connecting with your spouse, keep building that out into your family or out into your community, and let's change our world together. God bless you. Let's go.